Good evening, lovely people. My name is Callum, representing Team Coppish, and we are back for that Liverpool show. I'm delighted to be joined by Rams, Ryan, and James Redmond. How are we all doing this evening, people?
Good man. Good.
Good, good. Love it,
Boss
love it,
lads.
love it. So, guys,
Same,
I'll
mate.
be honest. I had a little agenda with what we were going to discuss today, but Rams, before we came on, quite rightly set me straight and said, "Look, we need to have a little Steven Gerrard appreciation." And if you guys have seen the thumbnail and everything, it's about Chelsea sitting down and just relaxing. So since the beginning of the season, we've heard that Chelsea were going to batter us at Stamford Bridge. Didn't happen. We heard that we were finished as a team. Didn't happen. We heard that Thiago Silva is better than Virgil van Dijk. We know that's a lie. We've also heard that Lampard sussed out Klopp. Again, another lie. Now I'm hearing, now I'm hearing Lampard was easily better than Gerrard. Guys, I'm gonna be real with you. Maybe I'm a little biased, and again, this is what always sits next to me whenever I do a YouTube show because I need a bit of inspiration sometimes. I look over to it and it says, "You know what? You're doing it. You're doing right. Continue what you're doing." Guys, one, how on earth are people comparing and saying that Lampard is well ahead of Gerrard? Like, don't get me wrong, I'll have the conversation with people. I'm always going to back Gerrard. But also, people saying that Gerrard couldn't survive in today's game or De Bruyne is better than Gerrard. I'm going to let you guys take the floor so I don't come across too biased. James, you got your hand up. You go first, brother.
Nice one, Callum. And I just wanted to put my hands up because I'm sure Ryan and Rams have something to say on this, but I just want to get my point across. Let me just talk about what Gerrard has done since he's started at Rangers. And fair enough, it's Rangers and it's not the most competitive league in terms of, how many teams and how many good teams there are. But when you put into perspective, Celtic have won 9 league trophies in a row. And obviously Gerrard hasn't got the job done yet, but he is on course to not only taking that off them, but smashing them to that league title like what Liverpool done last season, weirdly enough. And the weird thing about it, I mean, and again, in terms of on paper and accolades, I don't think you can say Frank Lampard is miles better than Gerrard. And again, people might just say, "Oh, you're biased, aren't you, James?" But also put into perspective, Lampard has had a longer time at the, club management, not under 18s and stuff, club management. He had Derby, didn't do the world of wonder there. He had to get promoted, and realistically, that never happened. He never completed his objective. However, I will give him the credit that he deserves at Chelsea. I think he's actually overachieved at Chelsea, in my opinion. People might disagree, but he got top 4, which he needed to do. However, he done it. He still done it.
Yeah.
In the summer, he brought in a bunch of new players who you need to get them players to gel well together, and he's actually done it quicker than what I had expected. And he's got them in a great position. That being said, though, Gerrard has done just an equally great job at Rangers, getting them all the way into Europa League, which is a fantastic achievement for Rangers against a very tough team in Benfica as well, by the way. Gerrard has got that team tactically set up. Right now on form, Rangers are one of the best in Europe. The smashing teams. The right-back's got 14 goals, and that comes with great management. Now, let me just propose the question to anyone watching this video. Would a Frank Lampard be doing this level of a job? And it's the if buts maybes game, but I'm allowed to do it. Would he be doing this well at a Rangers in just his second season? I don't know. No, I think it's a tough one. And I also think it's two jobs that it'd be difficult to compare, but I don't see him doing that well, mate. Not a chance. And that's good coaching.
Fair enough. CFC Gem, shout out to CFC Gem. Massive good guy. Love CFC Gem. Why would Lampard not be better than Gerrard? Man's won it all. Okay, so I knew this was going to come up because whatever always happens when Lampard's compared to Gerrard is Lampard scored more goals and Lampard won more trophies. Here's my rebuttal to the first one. So everyone says that Gerrard isn't as good as Lampard because Lampard scored more goals. So I'm going to ask Chelsea fans now and also Liverpool fans and anyone else watching this stream, is, in your opinion as a Chelsea fan, is Hazard better than Salah? And then I'm also going to ask, is Reece James better than Trent? And I think most Chelsea fans would say yes to both of those. And then I'm going to say, right, but Trent's got more goals and assists than Reece James since they've both been playing, or even if you just look at from last season to this season. And Salah has completely wiped away Hazard's record by goals and assists. So if you're saying Hazard and Reece James are better than Trent and Salah, based on how they are as players and not just saying, but I don't care about stats, then I'm going to say the same thing about Gerrard and Lampard. I don't care about goals. I care about how they were as players. And for me, Gerrard was a better player. Lampard was world class. No two ways about it. And anyone who said Lampard just scored deflected goals and isn't world class, honestly, I don't have time for that conversation because Lampard is undeniably a world class player.
Be clear.
But there's nothing Lampard could do that Gerrard couldn't do. Nothing in the game of football at all. And I know people are going to be cheeky and say, oh, he did slip this and again. All I'm saying is you can't say use stats for Lampard versus Gerrard, but then say you can't use stats for Salah versus Hazard or Trent versus Reece. So, Rams, I'm going to come to you next. What's your thoughts?
Yo, look, as a player and as a manager, Steven Gerrard is just better. Like, I think what James touched upon with Rangers and Celtic, I want to echo something as well. That winning mentality that Celtic have had for the last 9 years is incredible. People don't talk about it. Winning mentality is the most important thing. This Rangers side hasn't won anything in their career. James Tavernier, their captain, hasn't won anything. I don't even think their goalkeeper, their oldest player in the team, has won a major trophy. Maybe he's done it for Rangers like a long time ago, but it's that winning mentality that they have. The guy has conceded 3 goals this entire season. Like, 3 goals. That's
crazy.
Stupid. That is like, I think that's the highest in European football, which is just incredible. And the fact that they started to be consistent and they're bringing their form into the Europa League is just incredible. And as a player, look, I want to ask the question to Chelsea fans, yeah? Why is it that players across history, pundits, they use the likes of Scholes and Gerrard as the ideal midfielders? Like Xavi, Alonso, I think Alonso might have said something. Pirlo have talked about Scholes. But the likes of Mateus, Daniele De Rossi, Marquisio, they talk about Gerrard as the contemporary midfielder. I don't hear that conversation with Lampard. Not to say that he wasn't a great player. I think Kaká might have said that he would have loved to play with Steven Gerrard compared to Scholes and Lampard. Like, is that conversation? I don't hear any footballers or past footballers talk about Lampard in the same breath as Steven Gerrard, in my opinion. And
that's a fair point. Also, if you're looking at individual accolades, Gerrard again has got more individual accolades than Lampard as well. So again, I'd love to know from a Chelsea perspective why it is that Chelsea fans just say, and again, this is what I don't want to see. And again, you all know I'm a Liverpool fan. Lampard is dead food, but he's not dead food.
He's not.
I'm not going to sit here and say Gerrard's better and then downplay Lampard. Like, I'm not going to do that. Like, some others might do that. I'm not going to do that.
Listen,
Lampard was quality.
He was serious, and you cannot be putting them two in the same sentence and then calling one of them shit. Like, you just can't do that, in my opinion.
You can't.
Like,
so wait, hang on, Callum. I've been seeing a lot of comments about Scottish League, yeah, and it's all about it's a farmers league. Yeah, it's a farmers league, but the fact that he's doing it with a team that hasn't won the league title in over 9 years, and that they were almost under administration 3 or 4 seasons ago. Like, wouldn't that make it that even much better that they're toppling a monopoly in Celtic? Like, that makes no sense at all, and it's completely stupid. Like,
exactly. Ryan, your thoughts on this?
Listen, Chelsea fans, you see the jealousy you guys are with Steven Gerrard. You guys will stop. Do you remember 2005 when Chelsea supposed to side Steven Gerrard? Do you remember that? That's the jealousy that Chelsea have for Steven Gerrard, because they do not get one of the best midfielder in world football to brace the game. Steven Gerrard made me start to support Liverpool, and Frank Lampard is a great player. Both of them doing fantastic in manager, and we have to respect that. But I just want Chelsea fans, to just stop compare, because individually, Gerrard is a much better individual player. Put Frank Lampard in Liverpool team over the years. How many trophies made that one? Remember, Frank Lampard surrounded by great, the Didier Drogba, the Ballack. Who Gerrard have side him in Liverpool midfield? And He's single always bring Liverpool. Clutch moment, big moment. Cry team on their back. Up to England. So people need to just stop. Do this compare. It's obvious Gerrard is a much better midfielder, a much better player. He can play left back, he can play right back, he can play quarterback, he can play centre back, he can play attacking midfield, a number 10. Frank Lampard do not have that. He's just a number 8. But people just need to stop compare Liverpool and bug. I don't even want to diss anybody, but they need to just stop and just give respect. Because Steve Gerrard do not win the Premier League, you're going to say he's not. Gerrard is the best England midfielder I ever see. Brace the game. Best ever. No doubt about that. He have everything in him locker.
Ryan, can't say any better than that.
Amen.
Can't say any better than that.
Amen.
And then when people are saying that the likes of Kevin De Bruyne and look, again, anyone who knows me knows Kevin De Bruyne outside of Liverpool in the Premier League is probably my favourite player in the league outside of Liverpool players in the Premier League. He's not Gerrard though.
But listen,
again, world class, but he's not Gerrard.
Kevin De Bruyne, when City need him to come up in the big moment, he don't. When City wants someone to cry them on the back, when City play great, Kevin De Bruyne play great. Only one clutch moment I see Kevin De Bruyne have in his entire Manchester City career against Real Madrid, where this man Real Madrid at the Bernabeu last season, and still haven't won the Champions League. So when Steve Gerrard take Liverpool on him back, 2008, 2007, all of these moments, 2006, Gerrard has always come up in the big moment when Liverpool need him. The jealousy that Chelsea have with Liverpool is from Rafa Benitez and Jose Mourinho. From 2005, they come to the party. They have a lot of money. 2004, 2005. This is heated because when you look at it, from 2004 come right up. Liverpool and Chelsea mad every time. And the hate where they have for Liverpool and Rafa Benitez, when Rafa Benitez turned Chelsea manager, Chelsea didn't want it. Up to Frank Lampard and John Terry. They don't want it because Rafa always get the better of Chelsea all the time. All the time. And just 2008, they get the better of us. And we should have won that game at Stamford Bridge. So Chelsea fans, just relax. You guys just coming up, winning look a trophy. When you just relax. We are a giant.
Like what? Like, can I just touch on something Ryan said there really quick? Ryan, you mentioned about comparing, and you're absolutely right, son, because you don't see us live. I at least me, I can only speak for myself. I never, ever, ever, like to a Chelsea fan or to any neutral fan, I never go, or I never feel the need to say, Gerrard's better than Lampard, you know. Like, I never feel the need to say that. I never feel like I need to put that as open information because I feel like you should just know that. So I think when you see all over Twitter and you're like, well, you know, the Lampard and Gerrard comparison just isn't really fair. You just know that you either hate Liverpool or you're a Chelsea fan and you haven't really even watched Gerrard properly and you're going off trophies. So, yeah, I think we've settled that one nicely. I'm not going to lie. We put that one in the mud.
One thing I want to mention, both international football, I felt like Steven Gerrard for England did more for England than what Lampard did. In my opinion, like the first World Cup I watched was 2006. Lampard was shocking. Lampard was probably one of the worst players that played for England that tournament, and Gerrard was one of the best. It was as simple as that. 2010, it was a poor campaign, but Steven Gerrard was the best player. Like it's as simple as that. Gerrard is a better player, all-round player, and people like to throw in Lampard play with 6 different managers and all that bull crap. Yeah, but when you look at it, Lampard still had his core teammates next to him. You talk about Drogba, talk about Terry, Petr Cech, Ashley Cole. Like, man, Steven Gerrard played with like the likes of Fabio Aurelio, who was all right, was a decent player, Dossena, Flanagan, and like Stefan Henshaw, mate. Like, you can't, like, people like to say that Steven Gerrard played with Alonso Mascherano. Yeah, he did play with great players, but it wasn't consistent to the same level as Frank Lampard. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Balotelli was a striker in his last season.
Yeah. Effectively, yeah. And again, I'm not taking anything away from Lampard. Lampard was a world-class player. And again, people will say, okay, but Gerrard never won a Premier League. Look, you don't just win a Premier League by yourself as a player. Like, if that's the case, then players like Matt Letizia were rubbish, and all these other players who didn't win a Premier League were rubbish. If that's the case.
Callum. Ask Francesco Totti what he's won in his career. Ask Gabriel Batistuta what he's won in his career. And these are the dons of football. They won.
Yeah.
They didn't win a lot, but we still call them one of the greatest strikers in the history of football. Like,
yeah, well said, my brother.
Played.
Well said.
Well played. I can't even, like, when you say that, then it's obvious that, you know, it is what it is. Like, some players, unfortunately, couldn't win these trophies because their teams wasn't good enough, or they were better teams. Like, we're not going to compare Chelsea through the noughties and Liverpool through the noughties, because Chelsea were clear. Like, that's not even a conversation. But if we talk about individual players, there's a conversation to be had. Most definitely.
A trophy for my club is worth 13 for Real Madrid. Francesco Totti said that, and Gerrard had that same mindset as well.
Yeah, indeed. So now we'll move off that. And again, a lot of people are saying it's only Liverpool fans talking about this. Honestly, I get inundated with stuff. I'm always hearing from Chelsea fans that it's this or that when it comes to Lampard. Yes, Totti did win a World Cup. We'll talk about what he won at Roma, though. I think that was a pretty obvious one.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's move on to the game we played last night against Midtjylland. So we drew the game 1-1. Through in the Champions League. We were through before this game anyway. This game was just a case of playing the game because it had to be played. Neither team would be affected by the result. Whether even if Midtjylland won, they still wouldn't have got through. Even if we lost, we still would have topped the group and gone through. However, there's been a lot of back and forth between fans. And this is one of the first times this season where I've seen fans kind of split down the middle in terms of what the situation was last night. And just to add a bit of context to it. So going into this game, a lot of Liverpool fans wanted to rest a lot of our best players. And Klopp had been speaking for weeks and weeks saying, look, the congestion of the fixtures is annoying him. We're down to our bare bones in players because we're getting injuries. We're playing on a Wednesday evening and then having to play the afternoon kickoff on a Saturday. Doesn't make sense. And we all agreed with that as Liverpool fans. Going into yesterday's game, we all wanted to see a weakened lineup, so to speak. And it happened, but there were still a few players in there that Klopp put in that a lot of Liverpool fans didn't want, myself included. Now, before I continue, I think one theme that needs to be cleared up, and again, I will continue to hammer this home as long as I do YouTube. Just because you disagree with a manager's decision, or you think a player had a bad game, it doesn't mean you're one slandering that person, and it doesn't two mean you don't rate that person. I'll sit here and I'll say it with my chest out high, Jurgen Klopp is the best manager in world football as of right now. But I'll also tell you, last night, I think Klopp made a really bad mistake in terms of the lineup and the substitutions. Now, again, I'm saying based on one night, I don't think Klopp did a good job. And he's a human being. If you were to talk and ask me about Klopp's tenure as Liverpool manager, it's undeniable. But as on last night, I don't think Klopp made the right decisions. I'm not happy about the starting lineup, and I'm not happy about the substitutions he made. So, Ryan, I'm going to come to you first. What were your thoughts on when you saw the lineup, and then also when you saw some of the substitutions he made?
The end of the day, Klopp, he gets it wrong. We all love Klopp. Klopp is the best manager. We're not putting him down. But we hear Pep Guardiola complaining about it. We hear Ole Gunnar Solskjaer complaining about it. We hear Klopp complaining about it. This is a game where we already qualify for the round of 16, top of the group, and to see Jurgen Klopp put out a strong starting lineup, why he play Mohamed Salah, why him involve Roberto Firmino, play the likes of Divock Origi, which he did. Origi should play out the whole minute. I expect Liverpool to play most of the under 23 squad, but Klopp, we know Klopp want to be competitive all the time, and that's team philosophy, and we cannot knock him on that. The end of the day, I just have to thank God no key player get any knocks or any player get any injured. We're going to rule them out of the game against Fulham and Tottenham and Spurs. But the end of the day, nothing bad happened, and I'm happy. I hope Klopp learned from that, and we just have to just move on.
Agreed. Rams, I'll come to you next.
Look, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Yeah, like I think the reason why Klopp may have brought on the likes of Jota and Salah, I think, is match sharpness. I think that's what's really important for Klopp. Klopp always likes the players to be on form, which is obviously an important thing. But with this game, with like I don't know why he needs to play all these players, especially given the fact that he's going to be complaining about injuries and like how players are dropping like flies for all clubs, not just Liverpool. And now he decides to bring on Salah and Jota for a pretty meaningless game. Substitutions wise, like it was naive putting Reece Williams and Kometio together. Like I knew from the get-go that these guys they're not vocal. They're great. They're really talented defenders, but they don't have that experience of knowing where to be in defensive positions. And then I thought he used Leighton Clark. I thought Leighton Clarkson was all right, but what I've seen from him in the youth academy, he was played in the wrong position, and I think you could have seen a lot more from him in a different position. But we just have to move on from this game. Like he made some mistakes, but he's still the best manager in the world for fact.
Rams, James, before I come to you, Rams, why would you say it was a mistake to play Kometio and Reece Williams? I would have thought it was a good idea because then you can kind of see what level they're both at in a game that doesn't have much pressure or significance, but also allowed you to see them against a game set of opposition who are going to push them as well. Why would you not think it was a good idea to play them both?
I think when you look at both players, they're not like I said, they're not vocal. Like when you have a young defender, you need to have an experienced head next to him. That's why, like if you look through, like John Terry played with, I can't remember who he played with back in the day, but a lot of young defenders when they come in, they always have an experienced head right next to them, and I think you could see it from the both of them that communications wise, it wasn't there. Positionally, they were looked a little bit out of position, which is natural in all young defenders, and that's where you needed an experienced head. But yeah, that's my opinion. I think.
Fair enough, James. Your thoughts on the whole situation?
Right, I've had to really think about this one because even from an hour before the game, I was thinking to myself when I saw Salah and I saw Trent and I saw Fabinho, I was thinking that's quite, questionable. Now, I kind of skipped over Trent because even though I didn't fully agree with it, I thought if he wants to give him minutes, then he wants to give him minutes. Even Fabinho to a level, I mean, I was sort of okay, but I had in my mind that, you know what, mate, I'm assuming Klopp has a plan of rotation and then that contributes to the rest. The only time I started having an issue, was actually near enough at half-time and then after the game as well. And at half-time, I had an issue because I noticed the way Midtjylland, which, by the way, can I just not stress enough, that's a big game for them. I know they've got nothing to play for in the group stage. I know all that's not important. We've got nothing to play for. We're guaranteed first. But to them, that's the last Champions League fixture they're going to have in God knows how long. It's at their stadium. And if they can nick any result, that's something to go back to their place with a lot of confidence. So that being said, that was a massive game for them. So no matter who we started, it was going to be a tough game. The fact we were going to rotate our squad, it was going to be a tough game. I don't think nobody is upset about the result. And obviously, Rams has just mentioned about the centre-back partnership and about how maybe bringing on Kometio was a bit of an issue. I thought that was fine because that's what I wanted to see. I said before, and I'm not saying Rams is wrong, by the way. I understand where he's coming from, and people are always right if they're upset about the results. If you want to beat Midtjylland, you have every right as a Liverpool fan to want to beat Midtjylland. However, when you bring out a Fabinho, yes, you lose that experience, but realistically, in a game that only realistically, a friendly is more meaningless than, it's like, he doesn't need to be there. I only had a problem at half-time when I saw Midtjylland was starting to kick Salah, starting to kick Jota and stuff like that. That was my only issue. And with Salah, I just think, first off, why is he playing 90 minutes? And then why is Origi coming off? Because Origi never has to play. And then Mo Salah is someone who's crucial to our team. So Mo Salah has gone to the manager in midweek and he's knocked on his door and he's gone, boss, I want to play and I want to get a couple of goals. Fair enough. But it doesn't mean you need to play him for the full 90 minutes when the other team is actually kicking living shit out of him. That being said, when it gets to the end of the game, I feel like it's being sugar-coated a lot more because no one did get too bad. Obviously, Shimakash, but he's not a regular starter, so he was going to always play that game. However, I do feel like if a Salah dropped or if a Fabinho dropped or even a Trent, I feel like a lot more people would be on the same page as Callum, for example, and what you think. And I think that because before the game I said, listen, put out the weakest possible 11. Start Leighton Clarkson, start Jay Kane, start Greenatail, start Reece Williams, start all these players. I don't like. Obviously, I want to see Liverpool win, but there's a bigger picture. There's a much bigger picture. We're through to the round of 16. That can't be changed. We've got a massive game against Fulham, and it's not even the game against Fulham. It's the following game against Spurs. You've got to be conscious of all these things, and then you can say like, but what about training? You do training and stuff. Training is nowhere near the intensity of a football match, especially when you're playing a team that is going for the win, that has something to play for. Therefore, I don't think Salah needed to play in that game. That's just my opinion. I was happy to see like Fabinho go off, but it's the substitutions. And if you can point out one flaw in Klopp's game throughout the whole years, and again, not dissing my manager, wouldn't want anyone else in the world. That being said, you can criticise him if you feel he made a mistake. Just because we're fans doesn't mean we can't say, I don't agree with that. So because Klopp's made all these miracles, we've now got to agree with every single thing he does, every single decision he makes, we've got to agree with it. Just because he's made these miracles, I don't agree with that. However, anyone to go beyond just criticising the one performance and, the one game of decisions would be a bit far. But no one's doing that. It's literally just, we're saying, the game itself wins. The decisions that was made in the game, we don't think was good enough.
Yeah, spot on. I think you put that perfectly, you guys. Ryan, I'm going to come to you next with a question. So Liverpool have advanced to the second round of the Champions League. Do you think we can actually go on and win it?
Yes. Only one team can stop us is Bayern Munich.
Okay, explain a bit more.
Round of 16, I want to avoid Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
They're a difficult team to play against. Yes, if everyone fit for Liverpool, we can get the better of Atletico Madrid. But at this moment, right now, I don't want to see Atletico Madrid. I prefer a Barcelona, a Borussia Dortmund, a Lazio, Seville, but I don't want to see Atletico Madrid. They have the same team from last year. Luis Suarez, add to that. Trust me, I don't want to see them.
Fair enough. Rams, can we win it? Can we go all the way?
Of course we can. Like, we're one of the best teams in Europe. Probably top 3 in Europe. Like probably Bayern Munich, us, and maybe I'll give it Man City as consolation. Like, I don't really care who's third. I know that Bayern and us are top 2, but I wouldn't mind Atletico. This might sound mad. Imagine that team talk before the game. We want
give Luis Suarez another one.
Yeah, we want revenge. Like, bro, I don't care. I'll put Henderson and Milner in midfield and just kick their midfield. That game pissed me off at Anfield. I don't mind facing them, man. But idealistically, it'll be Porto. Another 5-0 victory at the Stadio de Dragao. That would be great. Thank you.
See, I'm the opposite, Rams. I'm not going to lie to you. I'd rather avoid Porto because I feel like you get into the realms now where you're just tempting fate by getting them every season and they're going to think, right, we're not having it 3 years in a row. Like, it's not happening now. Like, enough's enough. I'm with Ryan as well. I'd like to avoid Atletico Madrid simply because we haven't got a full-strength team. If we've got a full-strength team, anyone can get it. Atletico Madrid, I think, will be the most difficult game for us. Like, in an ideal world, I'd like, and again, people are going to be like, oh, you're crazy. I'd like Barcelona or I'd like Lazio. Barcelona because we kind of started their demise and I'd like to be the club that puts the nail in the coffin. And then regarding Lazio, it would be really nice to see Pepe Reina and Lucas come back to Anfield. Yeah, even though it's not going to be a full stadium, it would be nice for them to come and just play at Anfield and for us to play them as well. And I think it would be a good footballing match as well. But I'd rather avoid those 2 teams. What about yourself, James? Can we do it? Can we go on and win the big ears again?
Callum, you present me the question, can Liverpool go on and win their 7th Champions League? Allow me to just give you the answer. Yes, we absolutely can. We are Liverpool Football Club, and that is just what we do. Last year, we know what happened last year, and people will say, oh, you're throwing in excuses for your team now. I won't even go any further. We know what happened. We know the circumstances that led to us losing that game at Anfield against Atletico. Do you know what I say, though, boys? I'm not saying you're wrong, Callum or Ryan. No one's wrong here. But I say, bring on anybody. And I understand we're in a weak position. I understand that I might be just going into the war zone with a broken arm and, you know, a broken foot as well, maybe even one eye. But I'm going into war zone ready because I know that we have got the players. We've got, like, we're talking about our back five, and you need, like, a good, consistent team that know each other well to be able to go on and win them trophies. We have got a good enough team to be able to go on and beat any team across two legs. Bear in mind, Liverpool are the best team in the world across two legs, again, with a fully fit squad. But I just think Jurgen Klopp can bring... I think if there's any manager who can bring this team, this set of players with the injuries, to go on and win a trophy that we're absolutely not expected to win under the circumstances, it is Jurgen Klopp and it is these players. If you're asking me for the next round, give me anyone. I don't care. We'll have to play them at some point. Give me anybody. However, you mentioned Lazio there. I hearted like the idea of the Lucas and Pepe Reina coming back to Anfield, as well as it's not the toughest game. So
don't forget Luis Alberto's coming back as well.
Done him. He'll probably, you know what, lads, we played him, he'd probably score, you know what I mean? Like,
I love the whole renaissance of them coming back, but Ciro Immobile scares me though. Ciro Immobile is a don. He's a striker.
But he's coming up against Fabinho. He's coming up against Fabinho. You forget how many class players
we've got Salamane and Jota and Firmino and all these Klopp class players. So it's like, I get it. Look, Immobile is quality, but I think as fans sometimes we forget what we've got and what we bring to the table. Because I guarantee you, there's no one sitting in that pot right now who wants Liverpool in the next round. Not one team. We are everyone's worst nightmare in that competition.
Barcelona would want us neither.
Oh, Barcelona would never want to see us. Atletico don't want to see us either.
Won't want us neither. But you see the type of football club play over the years, we all know that the team that sit a lower block and try to catch you on the counter, Atletico Madrid, when Liverpool come up against a team like Atletico Madrid, remember, it's not a Fulham. When Fulham put a lower block, Atletico Madrid have the highest quality player, all black. He make 4 to 5 world-class save. We save Atletico Madrid in that game. So Liverpool not coming up against a Fulham. So Atletico Madrid with some very good defender, very good goalkeeper. They have a solid midfield. And they have someone like a Luis Suarez that can put the ball in the back of the net. Remember, they still have Joao Phoenix. And I wouldn't want to see them right now. They are a really difficult team to break down. And I know what Liverpool can do from what they can do. Atletico Madrid is the team who can really knock us out again. But if Liverpool can avoid them and play them at one leg, I think we can get the better of them.
Fair enough. So, guys, we both, all of us have mentioned the fact that Fabinho played last night. And let's be honest, when Virgil got injured, all of us were very worried, and rightly so. Virgil is the best centre-back in world football currently. And obviously, we didn't go out and get a centre-back to replace Lovren, so we were short on numbers anyway. So Virgil getting injured, plus knowing that Gomez and Matip continuously pick up injuries over the years, we were well within our rights to be a bit nervous and scared. However, Fabinho in the summer was told he was going to be our 4th choice centre-back. It's actually been apparent now he's kind of our 1st choice because Joe Gomez is out and Matip could go any time. Guys, I'm going to ask you a question. So going into January, everyone wanted a centre-back. I'm going to ask a different question. Do we get a centre-back or do we get a defensive midfielder and say to Fabinho, right, you cover both positions? So who do I pick on first? Rams, I'll go you first. Do we get a centre-back or a defensive midfielder?
For me, I think it's a centre-back. You know, like I saw we were linked with Terrace. We saw him up against us, and he was very, very good that game. I've watched this guy for a very long time. When De Ligt and De Jong were there, he was a standout. Look, I don't want Fabinho to be a centre-back. Like, we forget he is one of the best DMs in the world. The guy breaks up play like no one else. Like the guy can also pass as well. Like we need him as a DM, and I feel like if we play him as a centre back for far too long, we're gonna limit his overall quality, which we all know that his best position is the DM position. And for me, I think a centre back is needed. It was always been needed even before we signed the likes of Thiago and Jota. But yeah, for me, he needs to play DM, and I think we need a centre back in the January transfer window.
Fair enough. James, your thoughts?
Mate, I love Fabinho, you know, Callum. I love Fabinho. Like, I don't know what it is about him, that. Like, he makes me just like a chuffed little child at Christmas, mate. Like, he really, really does. It's like, you know, that Chelsea game where we won 2-0. I said he probably walked into that game a centre mid and walked out a centre back. And I'm not discrediting what he can do in that midfield. Rams, you're absolutely right, my mate.
Yeah.
What he does in that midfield, the way he breaks up play, the presence that he offers there is massive. And you're actually not getting many better defensive midfielders in world football. That being said, he's played however many games, 6, 7, I don't know the exact number. We've conceded 1 or 2 goals. Both penalties, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. To replace the best centre-back in the world and do bits like, yeah, man. And by the way, let's not discredit Joel Matip, because I think he's massive when he's in that defence. And I think he's massive to the leadership of that defence, funnily enough, not just as a presence, not just as an individual. I think people will rate Matip so much higher, and understandably so, if he could have just stayed fit, because he is actually a class centre-back when he plays. Even at times when it was him and Van Dijk, he actually outshined Van Dijk at times, in my opinion. I thought at the end, what season was it? Was it it might have been the Man City Liverpool title race where they just edged it, but it was like just at the end of that, Matip was probably just above Van Dijk in a sense in terms of how he was playing, and then Joe Gomez needed to be added into the team. But I just want to ask, I'm okay with seeing Fabinho centre-back. In fact, you asked me, Callum, would I get a DM or a centre-back? If I thought the more important position to fill, it's difficult, because it's I wouldn't be upset to see a Van Dijk Fabinho partnership. I'm not against that. Like, it's mad, you know, and I understand, like, people can say to me, but you're losing so much in the midfield. But, like, that's serious. And Matip isn't reliable. So then you're relying to get another world-class centre-back. And obviously, Joe Gomez is the plan. But I'll say it's a tough one, you know, Callum. You put me on my toes here, mate. I'll let you midfield. No, I'll say a centre-back. Purely based on the fact that, because we've got less depth in the centre-back role. And like I said, Matip is a quite unreliable player, as well as Joe Gomez. Virgil van Dijk, if we lose him, then we need to make sure we've got cover to play next to Fabinho. Better options than just your academy players, and I'm not disrespecting Reece Williams and all that, but you do need to have just higher quality, like a Terrace, for example. So I'll say a centre-back, because we've got a strong amount of midfielders, and they're all quite good as well. So I'll say a centre-back. That was difficult, that though, Callum, mate. You made me sweat on that one. I
just want to quickly add. One thing why I want Terrace is just imagine the partnership with Gomez and Terrace. That's going to last for a very, very, very long time.
And before it gets to that, he's going to be learning off the best centre-back in the world.
Exactly. Like, it's just, I think we just, I just want Terrace. That's it. I just want that guy. The guy can be a top defender.
See, Rams, I don't want to, I'd actually take Terrace before I jump on anything. However, I have heard a few things that Terrace isn't actually all that, and that the performances was more stood out against Liverpool. So I'm not saying I wouldn't take him, but I do feel like a lot more people might give him just a bit more credit. Like, Ajax fans, I've seen them say he's not unlike De Ligt. Like, he's not. People compare him because he looks like him, but the way he plays, he's not unlike him, apparently. So
No. But like,
he's young, and next to Van Dijk and under the tutelage of Jurgen Klopp, I agree with you, mate. He could become solid.
Like you said, under Van Dijk, the guy has so much to learn. Like, De Ligt is for his age, he's well beyond his age. Like, he's like a 27, 20-year-old defender, and he's only like 20, which is just mad. But Terrace can learn from the best defender in the world and his fellow countrymen. And like, not to say they also played together in the Dutch national team. Like, I feel like the guy under us will learn so much. And I think he'll be a great defender for us. In my opinion.
Fair enough. Ryan, centre back or defensive midfielder, and why?
It's an easy one. It's an easy one. Joao Gomez, injury prone. Joel Matip, injury prone, who has been shot. We should get a centre back from in the summer. Nevertheless, we come in the season, start the season very well without the centre back. I was still doing good without the centre back. But Fabinho is one of the best holding midfielder. I want to see Fabinho go back in position. I don't want to see Fabinho playing the whole season at centre back. I think sooner or later team will find it out. This is the Premier League. Team will find it out. Just like Manchester City, Fabinho playing at centre back for the whole season. I don't want that. I want us to go out and buy a centre back, a Delic, or a Upamecano would that be a really good fit for us. With Joe Gomez or Virgil van Dijk, that's a long-term partnership. I don't want to see Fabinho continue playing centre back because, as I said, Joel Matip, Fabinho, injury prone. Gomez injury prone, so I cannot rely on them. So for me, centre back is the easy one. We have Thiago Alcantara, we have Endesi, we have Gini, we have James Milner, we have Curtis Jones. We have a lot of midfielder already, so I don't think we really need no midfielder this January. What we need to get a centre back. If we can get a Upamecano, I think we can go. We probably can win Chi Trophy this season.
Oh, bold shout. Shall I be honest with you? I think there's better centre backs out there than Upamecano. I think he's very good. I think there's a bit of rashness to his game though. And again, don't get me wrong, Klopp can iron that out of him. I just think there are better centre backs out there who are probably less known than Upamecano. Again, I'm not going to throw my toys out the pram if we went and got Upamecano. I'd be over the moon with it. I just think there are better defenders out there. Any that come to your mind. I mean, Konate. I'd take Konate over Upamecano, for example. Any defenders you guys like?
Romagnoli.
Yeah,
we're never going to.
Yeah, I was going to say he's never going to leave AC. He's the next Maldini there. So.
Yeah.
Not talking in terms of quality before anyone goes crazy. I'm just talking about in terms of the love for the club and him being a centre back and stuff.
I can't think of a name, Callum. However, that being said, I even do it on my channel. I always end up going back to Terrace, even with everything that I say about him. It's mad, you know. I just think he's got first team experience in a good Ajax team. Even though they might not think he's, the dog's bollocks, we can get him, we can polish him, we can iron him out. He's 20 years of age. He's literally got all the best resources at the club. And we're playing how much more for Upamecano? And I agree, I think. And we talk about reliability, by the way. I don't think Upamecano's got a great record of injuries. I mean, maybe I saw
he hasn't.
Maybe I've looked at it wrong. This is what I'm saying then. So it's then what I've saw is correct. If we're talking about Gomez and Matip, and we're saying these are good centre-backs, but they're not reliable, then why are we going out and getting an Upamecano who's just the same? He's just as unreliable. Therefore, I think get a younger centre-back who's hungry to try and earn a place in the Liverpool team. Probably go along the lines of what Ram said. Get him in there training in the second, well, not the second team, like a part of the first team, but as a second choice player behind Gomez and Van Dijk. And over time, he can build that relationship with Joe Gomez. And then the dream of getting Joe Gomez at the forefront and centre at centre-back as our main guy. And then when Van Dijk goes, you've got Terrace to slot in the spot. Again, fantasy world. Very big fantasy world, but I'm allowed to have fun with it.
Yeah. Here's another name, Pau Torres. Big fan, but again, getting him's going to be really tough. They're flying, Villarreal flying in La Liga, and his price tag is not going to be low either.
You know what's the problem? Not many good centre-back on the market right now what we can think of. Were reasonable for Liverpool, not many, and that's a problem we're having right now.
Yeah.
No, it's very true. Very true. It'll be interesting to see what we do in that aspect. Because I think a centre back between now and the end of summer, we will sign at least one centre back. It's just a case of who will it be and the reasons for signing that centre back. Kunde is another one from Sevilla. You don't think we'll sign one at all?
No, I don't think we're going to go.
I'm not even
centre back
at all, James.
I want us to, Callum.
No, I know you do. I know you do. Yeah. But you don't think we will?
But I don't think we're going to. I think Liverpool are going to have quite a stingy transfer window. I hope I'm wrong. But that being said, I just think they're probably going to see how well we've done regarding the circumstances. In January, it's likely that we're probably going to be in a better position than what we've been in recently. Therefore, they're just probably going to look at it and think, well, we're not going to think about if this could happen again. We're past our stage, therefore I don't think we need to go out and spend big bucks on a centre-back. And like I said, there's not really many great options out there for a great price. So, I don't think we're going to get one.
I agree with
Fair
him.
enough.
I agree with him because when you look at Liverpool's strategy, they don't really buy in January. They ask to really need. We have to really get like a Joel Matip injury in December for we really can get another centre-back in January because FSG, they are very stubborn. Klopp are very stubborn. He don't really like to buy in January. So I think I probably in summer we'll probably see another centre-back at the club right now.
Yeah.
I agree.
Here's another name,
Whoa.
Demiral from Juventus. Big
But
fan of
he's injury
Demiral as
prone.
well.
He's
Yeah,
injury
he
But
looks
again,
solid.
he could be the future of Juventus defense, so I can't see them letting him go either.
Callum, he's injury prone as well, I think.
I see. I don't think he's injury prone. He's had one bad injury, which was his knee, but I don't actually think he's injury prone. Konate is actually more injury prone than most people realize as well. So it's a tough one. I mean, anyone for Ben White, we were linked with him heavily in the summer, and it
I'll take
talks on
Ben
really
White.
quite. I'm a big Ben White fan, if I'm
I
going to be
like
honest.
Ben White, and you cannot underestimate when a player has already got Premier League experience, and the fact you look at like I'm a great manager like Bielsa. He said, "Yeah, I want Ben White back." Like he tried 3 or 4 bids for Ben White. So when you put it in that perspective, one great manager talking about a player that's such a high quality, he's reliable, he'll be available. Therefore, I'd love a Ben White at Liverpool, and I think he's fitting well with the lads. I think everyone at the club would take a Ben White. So and he's versatile. He plays midfield sometimes for Brighton as well. So like when we are covered at centre back, maybe if we're lacking in midfield, you can bring on a Ben White and he can be a presence.
Indeed. Okay, so guys, we move on to the Fulham game at the weekend now. So obviously we got Fulham after we play Fulham, we'll be playing Tottenham, which, if everything sort of matches up well, will be a top of the table clash and will be, in my opinion, one of the games of the season so far. Obviously, we have to take care of business against Fulham first. So, guys, bearing in mind what happened in terms of selections and everything in the game against Midtjylland, I'm going to go around the circle and I'm going to ask you guys to pick a starting 11 for this game and justify why you pick this 11. So, I'll start with Ryan. So, Ryan, if you give me your 11, please, bro.
I think Alisson Becker is a possibility you can see him back in this game. But if I were Jurgen Klopp, the youngster has been doing very good in the last 3 games. I think he should keep in position, make Alisson Becker get a little bit more fitness in training and then come in back in the Tottenham Spurs game. I think this game against Fulham, I know his goalkeeper I can play, but I don't want to rush back Alisson Becker if we don't really need him for rushing back. I want Alisson Becker to keep fit for the remaining of the season. So I will go with the youngster in goal. He have a very good game. So Fabinho, Joel Matip, I would probably bring him back. Nico Williams will definitely come back in this game because he didn't play on FC Midtjylland. So Nico Williams, Robertson, Curtis Jones, Gini, Henderson, and Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane, and Roberto Firmino. I think Klopp will go with that team because that's a team that start against Wolf, get a very good result, and I think Klopp want to win this game and go in with a little bit of momentum in the Tottenham Spurs game. So that's my starting line.
Fair enough. Rams, what about yourself?
Yeah. Like Ryan said, if Alisson is available, fully fit, I'll put him in the team. But Kelleher has been amazing for the last couple of games, so I don't see why you take him out even with his really good form. So yeah, for me it'll probably be Kelleher. Back four of Nico Williams. I think I'll put Fabinho and Nat Phillips in there because of Mitrovic. Because Mitrovic is a physical guy, and I think Nat Phillips would get physical with him. Not in that way, but like he was
fair enough.
Not in that way.
No. But he'll just the aerial battle would be immense, and I think he'll do well with that. Robbo, definitely best left back in the world for a fact. Best left back in the world.
Clear.
Yeah, no arguments.
Jordan in the holding role with Genie and Curtis in the midfield too, and I'd pick Jota, Salah, and Mane. I think Firmino coming off the bench would be a game changer if things don't go well. Touch wood, it goes well. That's what I'm saying. So yeah.
Okay. James, what about you, bro?
Right, I don't disagree with the Kelleher points that you have made, boys, but I'm going to choose Alisson purely based on the fact if you want him to come back in for the Tottenham game, and don't get me wrong, Alisson isn't one who usually needs match fitness, but the best type of match fitness for a goalkeeper is actually by giving them games. Getting the sharpness back to full strength is by giving them games if he's available. And I know that you have said this as well, so I'm not discrediting that. But if he is 100%, even if he's 90%, I know it's bad because he is like known for getting injuries, but I'd start him. Again, not trying to take anything away from Kelleher, but I think you start your best players because we need to really now go for it. And I love what Kelleher's done. Callum, Irish Iker Casillas or what, baby?
Irish Iker Casillas.
I give Kelleher the credit that he deserves. However, for this game, though, I do think Alisson coming back in would be the ideal situation. Back four. I agree. I can't remember who said it, but Nico Williams at right back. I agree with that. Was it you, Ryan, who said Nico Williams at right back?
Both of us said Nico.
Yeah. I agree 100% with that. I think, Trent starting the game midweek, I feel like he'd be more important in the Tottenham game than the Fulham game. So, yeah, I'm happy to see Nico start. And he can still offer that offensive side of things that Trent has been. And also going forward, he's very good. Left back, Robbo. And then centre-backs. Right, so my nailed-on choice was Matip and Fabinho. Now, I'm leaning more towards a Matip and Nat Phillips partnership after what Ram said about Nat Phillips, because Nat Phillips has shown aerially he is fantastic. Joel Matip, aerially, he is fantastic. That neutralises one of Fulham's biggest strengths when they do start a Mitrovic. Do you know what I mean? So I think that makes sense to start them two at centre-back. And then I think said Robbo left-back. So midfield, Henderson, Genie, and Naby, just rest Curtis, not drop Curtis, rest Curtis, bring him on to make an impact in the game. And people might say, but ease Naby back in. No, I'm done with ease and Naby back into the team.
Yeah.
You play him now, and if he gets injured, then there's just something a bit more weird going on there, but I won't get into all conspiracy theories and that. However, if he's injury prone, he's injury prone. Let's get the most out of him while he's fit. Get him in this game against Fulham and rest Curtis, because Curtis is actually above Naby now, in my opinion, in the squad pecking order. So that's why I'd rest Curtis Jones, not drop him. So Naby, Genie, and Hendo, and then the front three, I go with Mane, Salah, and Firmino. And I'm not, again, dropping Jota. It's not really a drop in Jota. I don't think Jota really broke into the first team. I think, or even through all this time of Jota doing really, really well, I think Jurgen Klopp has looked at Firmino as his main man, rightly so, and he's been picking up form recently. So you start Bobby Firmino, and then Salah and Mane should be more than good enough to get you the goals.
Fair enough. I'll be honest, I'm quite torn with this starting lineup. I think I would go Alisson, even though it's kind of harsh on Kelleher because Kelleher has played really well. But I would go Alisson because if he has got any rust, and I don't think he has, but if he has got any rust, then I prefer him to play rusty against Fulham than Tottenham, because if he plays rusty against Tottenham, we could get a hiding because Kane and Son don't play about. I'd start Nico in this game because ideally you want Trent for the Tottenham game. And if he can get another game's rest, and I think this is a game where Nico should be able to do well in as well. Robbo has to play left back, especially with Tsimikas being out now. This is where it's tricky, centre back. So,
Eddie,
yeah, like Rams, you made a really good point with Nat Phillips, and obviously it potentially gives a bit of a break to one of the other centre backs as well. Though Matip did have a break, I'm actually going to go Fabinho and Nat Phillips. Because if we can keep Matip free for the Tottenham game again, I'll be a little bit more confident and be more comfortable with that. And I think we should have enough with Nat Phillips and Fabinho to deal with the threat of Fulham. So I'm going to go with that partnership. In midfield, this is where I'm finding it difficult because I have got one eye on the Tottenham game as well. So I'm actually going to go Hendo and Genie as a 2. And then I'm going to go Firmino, Jota, Mane and Salah, because I think when Mane, Jota and Salah play, barring the Atalanta game, they all kind of seem like they all want the goals, and there's no one really creating for each other. They all very one-track minded in, we want to score, we want to be the winner for this. Whereas if you've got Bobby there, I think you've got someone who's less about getting the goals and more about who can I create or provide for. And I think that just makes the blend a bit better for us personally. But it is difficult. I mean, this lineup's difficult because everything says we should beat Fulham. Yeah, but everything says we should beat Fulham. But these are the games that we always find tricky, the games that we should win easily. Like the Brighton game, everyone said we should win easily. We saw how that turned out. So I don't want to be disrespectful to Fulham and be like, yeah, this is an easy game. And I only care about the Tottenham game, because there's no point caring as much about the Tottenham game if we don't pick up 3 points against Fulham, because it puts even more pressure on that game. So we need to do the business in this game. Hopefully we can. And then 60, 70 minutes, we can start bringing off a couple of players and just easing them out, and then bringing a couple of other players to get some minutes, like your Caters and people like that. So that's what I'm hoping for. So again, I'm going to go around the circle. Score predictions for that Fulham game. James, I'll start with you.
Right, I think... Do you know what, mate? And it's not like I'm just going off a bad feeling. I feel like if Fulham get a result from this game, and I feel like the best result they can get is a draw, I feel like the way they get that is... I really feel like it could be a VAR decision. Now, hear me out. I'm not thinking conspiracy theorist-wise. I'm thinking because with the fact it has gone against us a lot this season, but I'm not saying it for that reason. And believe me, I can already see the people in the comments, like typical Liverpool fan, banging on about VAR.
Yeah, Liverpool and all that.
Liverpool, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But let me just offer to you. VAR is given a lot of decisions for the split decisions. You know, them ones that are so close that how do you even conclude? And it could be right, it could be wrong. I feel like it could be one of them type of decisions, like the Brighton game, that could probably hinder us getting the points. That being said, if we can avoid Mr. Man in the back who can't look at a fucking screen, then I'm going for a Liverpool 2-0 win.
Cool. Ryan?
3-0 Liverpool.
Jeez, confidence. I love that. I love that, Ryan. Rams, what are you saying?
I think it's going to be a solid 2-0 victory for Liverpool.
Yeah, I'm going to go 3-1 Liverpool. I'm going to go 3-1.
You think we're conceding a goal?
Yeah, I just see it happening. I'd love a clean sheet.
We're not conceding a goal unless it's a penalty with Fabinho there, mate, I'll tell you that.
No, I hear you. I can see us conceding. Like, it might be a scrappy goal. I can just see us conceding, and then that kind of will be the kick up the backside we need to kind of make sure that we pick up the 3 points. So that's what I'm going for. But it should be an interesting game. And then obviously we've got the big one against Tottenham, which could potentially be a title decider. The way things are going. So it's going to be interesting. But guys, before we go, I'm going to ask you guys a question. If you could take one player from a rival team, I'm talking about the big six, and we can include Leicester in that as well. Who would it be and why? So Ryan, I'll start with you.
Solanke from Leicester City, centre back.
Okay. So just fill that void, yeah?
Perfect for us.
Okay. Rams?
I don't know, you know. I don't think they're good enough to get into this team.
Not one player. I've got a few I'm struggling with.
I'm struggling, bro. I can't think of anyone that would... The only players that I'll pick are abroad. Like, I don't think anyone... I might get Marcus Rashford, you know.
Rashford?
I like Rashford. I like Rashford. Like,
I'll be honest, I could think of a good few players before Rashford. I'm not going to lie.
I can't think of anyone, man.
No way Rashford get in this Liverpool team.
Nah, I was thinking of Tottenham players, yeah, and I was thinking Son, Mane. I'll put Mane. Maybe Rashford might play up front, but I don't know. I don't know. James, what are you saying, bro?
Harry Kane.
I'm with you on that.
Harry Kane all day, every day. Harry Kane, if he comes into the Liverpool team, you know we're serious now. No one's even turning up to the stadium, bro. You know our opposition teams, the ones we're playing, they're not even getting on the coach to make the trip to Anfield no more. They're really not. And then when we go to their stadium, they're going to be hiding all behind the seats, all under the tables and that. Like, shit, we don't want to be playing these because Mane, Salah, and Kane.
Oh
Don't
goodness
play with
me!
me. Don't play. Firmino behind, and then Jota's a couple. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. Game over.
I'm not gonna lie. You lot know I love Firmino. Firmino will have to hold the bench if need be. If Kane was to come to Liverpool, Firmino's got to sit down. He's got to sit down.
Nah, it's fair.
Like
that's true.
Kane's shown he can do the false nine stuff as well. Like Kane is something else, man.
My brother,
Kane, Salah, and Mane.
Impossible to get Harry Kane at Liverpool. It's impossible.
Oh, I know.
Solanke, it'd be the perfect. Would that be the perfect for Liverpool? Trust me.
I quite like Fofana though, if I'm going to be honest.
Fofana, yeah. He's a good defender.
I think Fofana's looked very good so far.
Yeah.
So, but boy, just a little bit of fun to end the show. But guys, let the people know where they can find you, how they can support you. So Ryan, I'll start with you, bro.
Ryan LFC on YouTube and Twitter, Ryan LFC 13, on Instagram, LFC Domination.
Love it. Rams, where can the people find you, bro?
Yo, my Twitter right here, LRB Rams. Give it a follow.
Cool. And obviously you can always find Rams on here as well. And then James Redmond, where can the people find you, bro?
James Redmond TV on the YouTube, my gorgeous people, as well as James Redmond _96 on Twitter and Instagram.
I love it. And guys, you can find me at Callum Sanderson on Twitter and Instagram. And also you can find me on Coppish on YouTube. So guys, just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who's watched, everyone who's commented, whether you're a Liverpool fan or not. Shout out to the Chelsea fans in the chat as well. Nothing like a good bit of banter on a Thursday. But until we see you next week, guys, stay safe, stay blessed, and continue to support the Football Terrace. And we'll see you soon, people. Take care.